students, how are you? I hope that all of you are well and good. Today I am going to discuss with you the question and answer of the story Mother's Day. So students, our first question is, this play written in the 1950s is a humorous and satirical depiction of the status of the mothers in the family. What are the issues it raises? Do you think it caricatures these issues, or do you think that the problem it raises are genuine? How does the play resolve the issues? Do you agree with the resolution? Caricature means just making fun of. So now I will the answer is, the play raises many serious issues. The first and foremost is proper appreciation of a housewife's role and responsibilities. Those who work 8 hours a day and 40 hours a week treat the housewife as an unpaid domestic servant who must carry out their duties. They neither request her nor thank her for her services. The second issue is the reciprocity of love and gratitude towards the mother or wife. The husband, son, and daughter leave the lady of the house alone every night and go out to enjoy themselves in their several ways. They do not take any notice of her and have become thoughtless and selfish. The mother's excessive love, care, and promptness to serve them also spoil them. The problem the play raises are serious. The treatment is, of course, comic. The playwright adopts an unusual method to resolve the issues. He takes the help of magic. She takes the actually it is she takes the help of magic. The East incantation of a magical spell helps in the interchange of the personalities. Now Mrs. Pearson, with the strong and sinister personality of Mrs. Fitzgerald, gives rough treatment to the daughter, son, and husband respectively. Her stern looks and commanding tone suggest to them that she can be really tough. The spoiled members are brought round by the heavy dose of exposure of reality to them. They agree to stay and help in preparing the supper while the housewife has a talk with her husband. The resolution of the issue seems far-fetched and unnatural, but extreme means have to be adopted in disaster management. Next question. If you were to write these issues today, what are some of the incidents, examples, and problems that you would think of as relevant? Various responses answer. Various responses are possible. One such response is given below. The incidents of unfair treatment to the fair sex as home, at work, in public transport, and elsewhere will prove handy. The examples of exploitation of female workers with lower wages, harassment by seniors, indecent remarks, eve teasing, and molestation can highlight the problems of social inequality that women face in practice even in the 21st century. Women face the same problem in spite of the talk of women empowerment. The poor housewives have to bear the physical torment and mental anguish at the hands of bullish husbands who boast of their masculinity by inflicting physical violence, barbs, and taunts on the defenseless women. Examples of rapes and sexual harassment which hug the limelight in daily newspapers can also be included to highlight the problems of insecurity of women in modern society. Now, question number 3: is drama a good medium for conveying a social message? Discuss. Answer: yes, drama is certainly a good medium for conveying a social message. Direct moralizing is often resented and usually ignored. Drama is a presentation of a slice of life through characters placed in various situations. The attention of the spectators centers around their actions and reactions. Most of them feel fully involved with the protagonists. The working out of the theme generally leaves a message, sometimes obvious and explicit, but in most of the cases indirect and implicit. The social message of these plays seem to come out of the interactions of the characters and their traits of character. The victory of evil over good is usually portrayed indirectly. These days, we find many play centered around themes creating social awareness, such as evils of drinking and smoking, dangers of pollution, child labor, the decreasing female ratio, and need to empower women. Question number 4: discuss in groups play or films with a strong message of social reform that you have watched. For group answer. For group discussion at class level, there can be varied responses. One such response is given below. The latest film I have watched recently is Swades. It has a strong message of social reform. It tells the story of an Indian scientist at NASA, America, who visits his ancestral home in India. The poor condition of the villagers and lack of basic facilities him fills him with deep agony. He resigns his job in America and returns to his native country, Swades, to begin his work of rural uplift. He gives the villagers a message that self-help is the best help and we cannot depend for everything on the government. This remote village is plunged in darkness after sunset as there is no electricity. With the help of a few villagers, the scientist is able to produce hydroelectricity and light the village homes. The water can be used for irrigation purposes also. Thus, the economic and social conditions of the village undergoes a sea change. The more questions solved, short answer type questions. How are Mrs. Pearson and Mrs. Fitzgerald contrasted? Contrasted means they are different. The two ladies are sharply contrasted. Mrs. Pearson is a pleasant but worried looking woman in her 40s. Worried means ki chintit. She speaks in a light, flurried sort of tone with a touch of suburban cockney. Mrs. Fitzgerald is older, heavier, and has a strong and sinister personality. She smokes, she has a deep voice rather than an Irish tone. Now, next question. I am much obliged, says Mrs. J. Pearson. What for does she feels obliged and to whom? Mrs. Pearson feels obliged to Mrs. Fitzgerald for telling her fortune. She thinks it quite wonderful having a real fortune teller living next door. Question number 3. What fortune does Mrs. Fitzgerald predict for Mrs. Pearson? Answer. Mrs. Fitzgerald is quite equivocal in her predictions. She says it could be a good fortune or bad one. All depends on Mrs. Pearson's herself now. She asked her to decide firmly. Her fortune depends on it. Next question. What problem does Mrs. Pearson face? Who do you think is responsible for this state of affairs? Answer. Mrs. Pearson devotes all her time and energy to serve her husband, son, and daughter. These thoughtless and selfish persons go out every night to enjoy themselves, leaving Mrs. Pearson alone at home. She is no better than a servant in her own home. Mrs. Pearson herself is responsible for the ill treatment, neglect, and lack of concern shown to her. What course of action does Mrs. Fitzgerald suggest to Mrs. Pearson to tackle the situation? This is question number 5. Mrs. Fitzgerald tells Mrs. Pearson to decide firmly and stick to her decision. She must assert her position and become the real mistress of the house. Her own initiative can help her. She must let them wait or look after themselves for once. Next question. What difficulty does Mrs. Pearson face while dealing with the various members of her family? Answer. Mrs. Pearson loves her family and children too much. She does not find courage enough to discuss the problem with them. She only keeps dropping hints. She hates any unpleasantness. She does not know where to start. She doesn't know how to begin discussion with the other members of the family. Question number 7. Then let me do it, suggests Mrs. Fitzgerald. How does Mrs. Pearson react to it? Mrs. Fitzgerald offers to deal with the family of Mrs. Pearson and teach them to treat her properly. Mrs. Pearson feels flustered. She thanks her, saying that it wouldn't do at all. They would resent. They would resent being ill-treated by somebody else and wouldn't listen. Question number 8. How does Mrs. Fitzgerald plan to deal with the family of Mrs. Pearson? She tells Mrs. Pearson that she will deal with her family not as herself, but as Mrs. Pearson. They will change places or really bodies. Mrs. Pearson would then look like Mrs. Fitzgerald and the latter would look like the former. Why Doris Pearson feels astounded on returning home? Astounded means surprised. Doris finds her mother smoking away, lighting another cigarette, and laying out the cards for patience on the table. Cards of patience means the cards. ताश खेलना. She shoots her query about ironing her yellow silk, but feel astounded on seeing her mother's behavior. Now question number 10. What are the 2 reasons that annoy Doris Pearson? Answer. First, Doris is annoyed that her mother has not ironed her yellow silk dress which she has to wear that night. Secondly, she has returned home after working hard all day and mother hasn't even bothered to get her tea ready. How does Mrs. Pearson refutes Doris' argument about working hard? Mrs. Pearson tells Doris that she has a good idea how much Doris does. Mrs. Pearson claims that she puts in twice the hours that Doris does and gets no pay or thanks for it. Question number 12. How does Mrs. Pearson criticize Doris on going out with Charlie Spence? Mrs. Pearson asked Doris if she could not find anyone better than Charlie Spence. He has buck teeth, and if half-witted, she wouldn't be seen dead with Charlie Spence. At her age, she would either have found somebody better than Charlie Spence or stopped dating boys on seeing no hope of success. Why is Cyril Pearson annoyed with his mother? Give two reasons. Cyril feels annoyed when his mother tells him that tea is not ready, as she couldn't bother about it. He inquires if she is not feeling well, and then asks her to be quite quick, as he has not too much time. His mother has not taken his things out. She has neither mended them nor is she willing to do so. That is question number 14. That's a nice way to talk. What would happen if we all talked like that? Says Cyril. In what context does he say so? What argument does he get in return? When Mrs. Pearson tells her son Cyril that she has decided now that she doesn't like mending, Cyril objects to her words. Mrs. Pearson gives him a taste of his own medicine by saying that all of them do talk like that. If there is something at home they don't want to do, they don't do it. If it is something at their work, they get the union to bar it. She has now joined the movement. Now, next question. Cyril is the first to react. He hints. Sorry, question number 15. How do Doris and Cyril react to Mrs. Pearson's query about stout? Stout means a kind of wine, sarab. Cyril is the first to react. He hints that she doesn't want stout then. That is, at tea time, her remark that she wants to drink surprised both Doris and Cyril, and they exchange notes regarding her behavior toward them since they returned home that evening. What changes in the behavior of Mrs. Pearson startled Doris and Cyril? What possible reason do they suggest? Answer. Doris couldn't believe her eyes when she saw her mother smoking and playing cards. Cyril too noted the change and asked her if she was feeling ill. She looks just the same, but her behavior is suddenly different. Cyril asks if she has gone slightly mad. Doris thinks that she has a concussion as a result of her head hitting something. Concussion means some madness. Question 17. How does Mrs. Pearson teach her children to be responsible adults? First, she scolds them for their guffawing and giggling. That means that they are talking and they are laughing. Then she has dig at their lifestyle. They just come in, ask for something, go out again, and then return as is. And there is nothing else to go. When Doris and Cyril boast of doing their work all day, Mrs. Pearson tells them that she has also done her 8 hours. She threatens to have 2 days off at the weekend. But question number 18. But any of you 40-hour a weekers who expect to be waited on hand and foot on Saturday and Sunday with no thanks for it are in for a nasty disappointment, says Mrs. Pearson. How has she planned to spend the weekend? She might do cooking or make a bed or two as a favor only if she is asked very nicely and thanked for it. They'll have to pay attention to her and show care and concern. Perhaps she might go off for the weekend. It will provide her a change. She is bored of remaining at home all the time. Question number 19. I'll hit you with something, girl, if you don't stop asking silly questions, says Mrs. Pearson to Doris. Which silly questions does she object to? Answer. Doris at first asked with disbelief if she would go off for the weekend, and then inquiries where she would go and with whom. Mrs. Pearson tells her that it is her business. Doris then asks her if she had fallen or hit herself with something. Mrs. Pearson objects to this silly question. Now, 20th question. Well, that ought to be nice change for you, says Mrs. Pearson. What change does she refer to, and how does George, George react to it? Answer. George finds his wife Annie, Mrs. Pearson, drinking stout at the wrong time of the day. Moreover, he has never seen her doing it before. Naturally, he is confused and surprised when he remarks that he doesn't like her drinking and it doesn't look right. Mrs. Pearson remarks about the change in her style. Okay, students, so I think these are there are some more questions you can see and you can note it down on your notebook, and I hope so कि if you have any problem you will ask it to me. You can directly call me, you can message me, you can write in the comment box, है ना. I will definitely try to clear your doubts, है ना. These are the another questions for our better understanding. Only 5 or 4 questions were given in the snapshot in your book NCERT, but there are some more questions and you will read them and try to understand them. If you are not able to understand them, you please ask it to me through making a call to me and through WhatsApp, and you can also write in the comment box. Definitely I will try to solve your problem. Or students, now with these words, please permit me to go and have a good day, and thank you very much for listening and watching this video. I hope so you have all understood it. Thank you very much.